He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife, the traitor. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The narcissist views in black or white. There are no shades of grey. You're either with us or you're against us. You're either a hero or you're a zero. This split thinking dominates the way that the narcissist regards you. And when an individual is painted black, they are seen as a traitor. The fact is, you may well tell the narcissist something that is accurate, but viewed through the distortion field of the need for control, your words, accurate, honest, even well-intentioned, will be viewed as a threat to control and dismissed. The narcissist is duty-bound to nullify them, and you become labelled as a traitor. As an appliance in the fuel matrix, you are expected to exhibit loyalty, fidelity, blind devotion to the narcissist. You are there to anticipate the needs of the narcissist. You are there almost telepathically required to understand what it is that the narcissist wants and requires. You are to carry out the narcissist's bidding. You are not there to stand in the narcissist's way. You are not to query them, question them, look to hold them to account. All of those things fly in the face of your duty and obligation to the narcissist. And therefore, anybody that criticizes the narcissist, speaks out of turn in relation to the narcissist, doesn't do what the narcissist requires, fails in their fuel obligations, becomes labelled a traitor. It does not matter if you have been a loyal friend for 10 years towards that narcissist. The moment that you fail to do something which accords with the needs of the narcissist, i.e., you threaten the narcissist's need for control, you become seen as a traitor. You could plead your case, but I've always been a good friend to you. I've always remembered your birthdays, and just this once I was a little bit delayed in getting your present to you because I had to take little Johnny to the hospital. It does not matter. The needs of the narcissist must come first, and you've failed. You are a traitor. And this is the situation that this one's wife regularly faces with regard to many people in her fuel matrix who become regarded as traitorous. But it gets even worse as a consequence of recent disclosures about those close to her, those who are entrusted by her to some degree. Martin Robinson, writing for the Daily Mail, explains, a US report claiming this one's wife is a dictator in high heels came from someone very high up, still working for the couple, a senior journalist has claimed. The source said that this one's wife does not take advice, which is typical of the narcissist because the narcissist knows best, and has reduced grown men to tears. Mayor Roshan, co-editor-in-chief of the publication, has said that he stands by the story after a backlash amongst supporters and friends, including one Sussex source who said the claims were fabricated, coterie member seeking to nullify threat to control. This one's wife herself has always denied claims of bullying staff. Mr. Roshan believes that their insider has revealed that it probably isn't true, that claims this one's wife is difficult to work with and the nickname Duchess Difficult were manufactured by the palace after Megxit. The allegations about her behaviour emerged in a piece on the exodus of staff who have worked for the Sussexes, including the couple's chief of staff, Josh Kettler, who resigned from his role in August after just 3 months. Mr. Roshan told Access Hollywood, our reporter talked to a very high-up source who works for the couple and said everyone is terrified of this one's wife. Duchess Difficult is a nickname that has trailed this one's wife for quite a few years. What is new is that this notion, since coming to America, that a lot of these rumours were manufactured by the palace, and the reporting that we did suggests that probably isn't true, and there is still this undercurrent of fear. Mr. Roshan told Access Hollywood, "Two things can be possible at once. The couple does help a lot of people. This one's wife and Harry declined to comment on our story. I think this one's wife would have said that barking around orders is something that we expect from men, and it would never raise an eyebrow." The Hollywood Reporter piece last week claimed that this one's wife terrifies people, described the couple as both poor decision makers who change their minds frequently, with Harry dubbed a very, very charming person and yet very much an enabler. The publication reported allegations that this one's wife was absolutely relentless as she marches around like a dictator in high heels, fuming and barking orders, adding, "I've watched her reduce grown men to tears." This one's wife, with her noisy tantrums and angry 5 a.m. emails, have also earned the nickname Duchess Difficult by her members of staff, the Hollywood Reporter said. Accordingly, the co-editor of the Hollywood Reporter has gone on record as standing by what was reported, that he maintains that this is what has been said about this one's wife, and has doubled down by explaining that some of the information has been provided by someone who still works for the Sussexes and in a very high up position. Thus, there is a traitor in this one's wife's midst. Undoubtedly, she will be made aware of the fact that someone who currently works for her has spoken to the Hollywood Reporter and spoken about her in unfavourable terms. Naturally, this is a threat to her control. But what it does is that it exacerbates the natural paranoia of the narcissist. Narcissists are paranoid because of the necessity of basically subconsciously ensuring that everybody is under control. Accordingly, the narcissism is scanning everyone, if you will, to determine, are they under control, are they not under control? Are they under control, are they not under control? That person's looked at me. It looked at me in a funny way. They're not under control. I need to do something about it. Remember, the unaware narcissist doesn't think in such terms of control, but that's what's going on beneath the surface. That's what the narcissism is doing. Because the narcissist is so hypersensitive to the need for control, because the calibration is so fine-tuned, they will see a threat to control when somebody simply is talking to somebody else. You as a non-narcissist wouldn't be bothered by that. Nevertheless, this one's wife, like any other narcissist, will have that subconscious sense of a threat to control when somebody's talking to somebody else. The failure to make the narcissist a cup of tea amounts to a threat to control. Some would think, gosh, that must be rather wearing. But remember, the narcissist is built and designed this way. The narcissism operates to keep looking out for these threats to control and do something about them. But this creates a paranoia. And this paranoia exists, in effect, to aid the narcissist in being driven to seek that control, to maintain that control, to nullify that control. If the narcissist didn't care about what people were doing, then they wouldn't get and maintain that control. Accordingly, what happens is that the narcissism is there to power the narcissist to keep looking for that control. And thus, when there is a suggestion that there is a traitor amongst those that work for the Sussexes, this is hugely problematic for this one's wife. First of all, how dare someone not be loyal? Secondly, who are they to criticise me? I am the brilliant Duchess of Sussex. Everything you say that is contradictory to that notion is clearly a lie. But she doesn't know who said it, and therefore, thirdly, her paranoia becomes exacerbated. She's looking at those members of staff, trying to root out who it might be, and she will want to find out, because their very presence of remaining in the organisation, having been critical of her, remains a continuing threat to her control, and she will need to nullify it. It would also be the case that she would be driven to seek to punish them for the audacity of being so traitorous and in the midst and at the heart of her organisation. If you do something which is against the narcissist, even if it's well-intentioned and you don't regard it as being against the narcissist, you become painted black and you're viewed as a traitor. This individual, whoever they may be, has spoken out to a journalist and has criticised this one's wife. This means that they are a traitor. And this threatens this one's wife's need for control, but leaves her with almost like a festering and suppurating sore that is in the middle of her organisation, but she doesn't know who it is. You can expect that she will be seeking to root them out. She'll be asking questions. She'll be carefully watching people, again, driven by her paranoia and a need for control, which will only, of course, seek to heighten the unpleasant atmosphere which has already been spoken of, which demonstrates again how she just simply doesn't learn. There is a traitor, and it is a problem for this one's wife, because it means that she'll be looking at these different members of staff thinking, is it you? Is it you? Is it you? And that will cause her to divert attention onto that issue for the purposes of trying to maintain that control over her members of staff, driven by that paranoia, the suspicion, the need to watch them, to question them, to spy on them. It generates an unpleasant working environment, but when there is a traitor, the narcissist is duty-bound to deal with it. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.